There are more than 5,000 homeless people in Maricopa County on any given day. Most of them are single men and women, but there are an estimated 250 families on the streets or in shelters. More than a decade ago, Maricopa County partnered with Phoenix, St. Vincent de Paul, Central Arizona Shelter Services, and Lodestar Day Resource Center to create this campus where people could find food, temporary housing, and services such as health care. At the same time, prosecutors and public defenders were contemplating their role in the homeless problem.
The concept of the homeless court was, let's turn it around. You have a homeless person who comes into a shelter, who is seeking to address their underlying issues, but they've got all these outstanding warrants, which is keeping them from leading a productive life, keeping them from getting a driver's license, all sorts of consequences.
Take individuals who have been in the system, out of the system, in the system. They have accumulated huge amounts of fines, and there's no way in the world these individuals are going to be able to even come close to paying it off. You've never really tackled the underlying issues of where they're at. Why are they behaving such a way? Is it substance abuse? Well, how else are you going to get there unless you really connect them to services?
Attorneys and judges talk about the cycle. People commit a nonviolent offense, don't pay the fine, and then don't show to court, which leads to a warrant and then jail.
And it's just a revolving cycle, back and forth. They're out in the street, they're back in jail. They're back in court, they're back in jail.
And you combine that with the cost of just staff having to house the files, maintain the files, move the files around whenever there was any kind of activity on these cases. It's a tremendous amount of costs with no good results.
When we have all these malingering fines out there, it's like getting blood from a stone. People are homeless, they don't have a job, they are never, ever, ever going to be able to pay these fines.
The next matter is State of Arizona versus Monique Brady.
Phoenix, Tempe, and Glendale piloted the first Arizona homeless courts, hearing cases referred by outside providers. No victims and no felonies. The cases usually revolve around things such as driving on a suspended license, public intoxication, or trespassing.
My tickets were simply because I couldn't afford car insurance.
Irene Santiago's need to drive cascaded into more than $9,000 in fines across several cities.
I would lose my registration because I had no car insurance. But I was still a single mom. I had 2 kids to get to one school, 2 kids to get to another, and a baby to the sitter to be at work by 8. Eventually I ended up losing my job because I couldn't get to where I needed to go.
Santiago would tell you it has not been an easy road. People who participate in homeless court have to be referred by the provider, and then they have to go through a program, which can take months, even years.
Shira, do you want to give us an update on Amy? People are not getting a free pass. They have to do a lot of community service. They have to be actively involved in a program. It's the exit portal, and therefore, in order for that person to be able to take advantage of it, they have to be demonstrating that they're making sincere efforts to resolve their homelessness.
Recognizing homelessness as a regional problem, 2012 legislation brought all 48 limited jurisdiction courts in Maricopa County under the authority of presiding judge of the County Superior Court. This streamlined the process and allowed more people to seek a fresh start.
It really gives them something specific to work towards, and within a few days they get their license, and sometimes we've seen clients who haven't had their license in 15 years.
We give them credit for community service hours, and they were able to get their warrants quashed, qualify for driver's license, and those 2 things we found were the biggest hurdles for people finding employment.
It's an incredible positive reinforcement to say, all right, you've put a series of good choices together in a row here. Now, let's move this. If we could take care of this, how would this impact you?
Since that time, the courts have resolved more than 1,000 cases and grown from 13 to 37 providers with 68 programs. But seeing each of these people commit to their plan and then lift themselves up is the true measure of success.
Every time we have homeless court, there are tears and there are hugs and there's applause.
They've already gone through these programs where they have bettered their lives. They've received education on how to get jobs.
When you see these individuals in court and you understand where they were and where they're going, it's an exciting precedent for the judge and for everybody in that courtroom.
Low-risk offenders in the system benefit greatly by us treating them as human beings.
Now that I'm able to keep this job and I have a license, I'm already looking for a second job. I'm hoping to be a homeowner soon.
I want to tell you a little bit about how the homeless court got started. Back in 2005, a group of people in the legal community here in the Phoenix area attended an American Bar Association conference in San Diego that was talking about homelessness and how the courts could help. And after attending that conference, they decided to get organized here in Maricopa County. They recruited more people to join them. They started a transition committee for the homeless court, or an implementation committee, and they got started. And in early 2006, they held their first docket. We only had a couple of defendants, and we had actually 6 providers. And we've grown since then. And there were some months we didn't have any defendants, so we didn't even hold court. We've come a long way since then. But we appreciate the efforts that those folks made. And I want to tell you that in 2006, when legislation had been passed by the legislature recognizing the homeless court as a countywide organization and authorizing it to be established in every county in Arizona, we then incorporated all 48 limited jurisdiction courts into our homeless court program. And I can tell you, since the expansion of the homeless court to all 48 limited jurisdiction courts, we've had over 1,050 cases heard in the homeless court, and we've satisfied over $720,000 worth of court fines, representing over 186,000 hours of community service hours. And as I think I said earlier, those community service hours were not just hours in picking up trash, say in the park or along the streets. These were self-improvement hours that were put in by individuals where they received job training or substance abuse counseling or mental health services that helped improve them personally and their families and their neighborhoods. And so we all benefited as a community as a result of it. And it benefited the courts that were otherwise housing stale files that cost money to house and had no good results. And I'm just proud to be able to recognize today the efforts and the accomplishments of those who first started the homeless court and where we have come. I might say, too, that when the legislation was passed to allow us to expand, it was a big job to incorporate all of the different courts into the system, and we've accomplished that. And I want to tell you that in the last calendar year, we've had over 333 cases referred by 12 different municipal courts, 55 cases referred by 17 different justices of the peace courts. This year, we have scheduled 6 justices of the peace and 6 municipal court judges from all different jurisdictions to preside over the monthly dockets of the homeless court. So this has become a truly regional problem-solving court, and we're very proud of that accomplishment. As a result of where we've come, we would like to make some special recognitions today. We'd like to start by recognizing the pioneers, the true founders of the homeless court movement here. So as I call their names, we would like them to come forward and receive certificates of appreciation. I'm asking Judge Majestic to assist me in recognizing these folks. First, Patience Huntworth from the Arizona Supreme Court Staff Attorney's Office. Thank you, Patience. Next, Jeremy Mussman, Deputy Director, Maricopa County Public Defender's Office. And I'd like to have also come up Will Gonzalez, Acting Chief Deputy Phoenix City Prosecutor and Trial Bureau Chief from Phoenix. Judge Lorraine Arkfeld was our first homeless court judge. She was the presiding judge in Tempe. She's now retired, but we appreciate Judge Arkfeld as well. Next, our early support staff from the Phoenix Municipal Court, Brenda Enabo and Mitzvah Brown are here, and they've provided invaluable staff support for many years until we reached the expansion stage. So we'd like them to come up and receive certificates. Thank you, Brenda and Mitzvah. I'd now like to ask, and I'll name them in turn, the presiding judges from our 3 original host cities, Tempe, Phoenix, and Glendale, to assist me in recognizing the elected officials from the respective cities who have given such invaluable support for the homeless court over the years. First, Judge Majestic, who also is one of our hosts today, I'd like you to come forward and make your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I wanted to start this off by saying we had two pieces of the puzzle in place. We had the well-meaning group of the grassroots progress that happened with initiating this. Then they came to the judiciary, and the judiciary jumped in. The last piece of the puzzle, however, are our elected officials. And this is incredibly important. As presiding judges, we certainly are tasked and follow the constitutional mandates of the independence of the judiciary. However, we all know as well as when we are working within our respective municipalities that there are plans that our cities have for what their city's priorities are. And I'm happy to say that each of the three of the presiding judges here today, and as well as Maricopa County, who is represented, have a priority is taking care of their own. I am so proud to be a part of that. And without that, further ado, I would like to introduce the mayor of our city, my city, Mayor Mark Mitchell.
Well, thank you very much, Judge Majestic. And before I say brief comments, and I mean brief, I'd like to introduce my fellow council colleagues with us. We have Vice Mayor Corey Woods with us. We also have Councilmember Lauren Cuny. We also have our Justice of the Peace, Tyler Kissel, with us from the University Lakes District. And the reason why I mention them, and we have a whole table of city staff, that the reason why I mention these individuals is we could not do what we do as a city without the support of our staff and our residents. And that's something that's really important, especially when we talk about the Regional Homeless Court. You know, the city of Tempe is very proud to be one of the original participating cities, along with Phoenix and Glendale, and I see Mayor Weiers is here. You know, our cities are at our best when we work together. You know, regional cooperation really is a no-brainer, and sometimes common sense is not that common. But I would tell you that, you know, by working together, it just simply improves the lives of our residents. And this court is a great example of that. By cooperating, this court provides accessibility to justice for people who are homeless. You know, the numbers do prove it, as was mentioned earlier. In the last year alone, this regional court was able to resolve 402 cases. And that means that 402 people are really able to get their lives back on track. And I think we all can agree nothing is more important than that. On behalf of the City of Tempe, I would like to thank the governing board and for the recognition today, as well as assure you that we will continue to support our efforts regarding the regional homeless courts here in Maricopa County and bringing justice to home. So thank you very much.
Next, I'd like to introduce to you Presiding Judge Don Taylor from Phoenix Municipal Court to assist in recognizing our elected officials from Phoenix. Thank you, Don.
Thank you. I was told initially I have 2 minutes to talk to you and introduce to you the leaders here from Phoenix. And then I imagine the people who were telling me that laughing uproariously because they know I can't do anything in 2 minutes. But I'm going to show them I can. Because what I will say is I want to echo what Judge Majestic said. I inherited in my position a fantastic operation known as the Regional Homeless Court, which Phoenix is a proud member. And I will tell you that although I was not a part of building that, I am inspired by watching what it does. I have been for several years. And I like to think that the experience of the homeless court really informs what I'd like to see Phoenix Municipal Court do and where we'll go from here in many respects in close collaboration with our partner courts around the state. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce to you a leader who I think has demonstrated over and over again his commitment to the issues that attend homelessness here in the Valley of Sun, and particularly in Phoenix, and that is Mayor Stanton.
Thank you very much, Don Taylor. Judge Kane, thank you for your leadership in helping to organize this great event. Our recovering Chief Judge of Municipal Court, Roxanne Song-On, thank you for being here, still recovering. Look, why do I and the other elected officials in this room want to do so much to support people who are experiencing homelessness right now? because we're Americans. We love a great comeback story. The stories that you get to hear of people who are suffering through their toughest times, the lowest lows, and then someone reaches out a hand, government, nonprofit, the faith community, and helps that person out of that circumstance and see them come fully back. From living under a bridge to receiving a PhD and teaching at Grand Canyon University. That's one hell of a story. That's inspirational. We love it. That's why we're here. And I want to tell you something else about our municipal court in the city of Phoenix. And I want to talk directly to Phoenix Municipal Court judges and other municipal court judges. No offense to Superior Court judges or other courts of jurisdiction. But no one works harder. No one is more innovative. No one gets people, at least that I've experienced in the justice system, more than municipal court judges. And I respect the work that you do. And it's never better reflected in what we have done in these specialized courts, supporting people experiencing homelessness, supporting our veterans in the specialized courts for veterans, supporting victims of domestic violence, and educating this community, including elected officials, about how we can better support victims of domestic violence, better supporting people who happen to have mental illness, understanding that our court system isn't about adjudicating criminal sentences, but it's about helping people, understanding all of the services that are available to help people end their time going through homelessness. And I'm so proud of what these courts, the justices in this room, the judges in this room have done in innovation and using the offices that you would have bestowed to help people. The 10 years of this homeless court is the best example I've ever seen in terms of the court system coming together. So, Roxanne Song-On, when you recommended that we pay our judges the same as Superior Court judges, people were shocked. Why could you do that? It's the best court system in the state of Arizona. I'm proud to say that as mayor of the city of Phoenix. And I know I speak on behalf of my colleagues that are here, Councilman Michael Nowakowski, Councilman Bill Gates, and Councilman Kate Gallego. My apologies to Judge Gates, Bill. I got to share the love with the municipal court judges. Anyway, it's an honor to have been a part of this. The leaders up here are great leaders, and I expect nothing but the same in expansion of these courts and helping even more people moving into the future. I'm proud to partner with Mayor Mitchell in Tempe and Mayor Weiers and Glendale, because I know you are fully on board and feel exactly the way I feel about how important this court is to supporting the people of our community. Thanks so much for that recognition.
I was first approached about homeless court back in, I don't know whether it was 2005 or 2006. I said, well tell me what this does. And as it is explained to me, and I don't think Phoenix has really been given the credit here, Phoenix Municipal Court staff did the work. Tempe provided judges to be able to preside over homeless court. I said, all right, I get that. So tell me what it does. It's all about success stories. These are people that are homeless. These are people that don't have licenses. These are people that have substance abuse and mental illnesses. And it starts with the providers that are connected through homeless court. They have to be approved by the council now. But those providers work with people one-on-one to help them get their life together. There is nothing like presiding over a homeless court. Every single defendant is a success case. Every single defendant has done way more community service hours than any judge would have ever ordered, and they've got their life together. And they're there, and I will tell you, it is hugs, it is kisses, and it's rounds of applause for what these people have managed to accomplish. So this was a real easy yes for me to say to Tempe and Phoenix. Glendale absolutely will be part of this. So I want to thank them for approaching me way back when, and how great is it that we're here 10 years later celebrating. And I'd have Jerry Weiers, Mayor of Glendale, come forward.
Well, I didn't know it was 2 minutes. I thought it was 2 hours speech. So, anyway, I just want to thank and take this brief opportunity to thank Judge Finn for her many years of loyal, dedicated service to the city of Glendale and her unwavering support of service to the underserved populations. And on behalf of our city, I'm so proud that Judge Finn and our city court team for their leadership and their participation as one of the 3 founding cities of the homeless court 10 years ago. Now, it's really impressive to me to see how this program has grown to serve even more people in need. And again, thank you to our city court system, to all the court systems, and being a leader in the court community and creating and supporting these types of innovative programs that do in fact serve our community and make a huge difference in people's lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Glendale. And last but not least, I'd now like to introduce Judge Joseph Welty, who is the Assistant Presiding Judge of Superior Court in Maricopa County, who will introduce the county officials today. Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Mayor, on behalf of the 161 judicial officers in Maricopa County, no offense taken. Our judicial systems exist to serve our communities, and we know that that service typically exists when people come in the doors of our many court facilities. But we have an obligation as a governmental organization to reach out to underserved communities and find vulnerable populations and bring our justice system to them. And that's what this program did. And we in Maricopa County are so proud of our Board of Supervisors for supporting that, our county management for supporting that, and the partnership of our 26 justice courts in that regard. So I want to ask Steve Gallardo to come forward and be recognized on behalf of the board. This program could not have been expanded without the faith of the Board of Supervisors and the funding of the Board of Supervisors. They saw the vision of this program and supported it, and we very much appreciate that. Steve?
Thank you so much, Judge. And I do want to real quickly, once again, thank Judge Davis, Judge Barton, I know was not able to be here, and Tom, where's Tom? Tom Amos, Tom in the back. Thank you, Tom. One of the first issues, I am the newest member of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, and one of the first issues that was thrown on my plate was the issue of homelessness and CAS and the men's overflow shelter. And thank God I had someone like Tom Manos who has put his heart and everything he can in helping people in their own homeless shelters and helping people get into permanent housing. And this program is so awesome because we are giving people a second chance. We're getting them on that pathway to be successful and to get a job and to go to school and get on the permanent path to housing. And that's what it's all about. But I think we have to remember, just last year alone, nearly 4,000 individuals walked in to the homeless shelter seeking help and services. 4,000 individuals. Last year alone, 1,200 youth, kids, walked around the streets of Maricopa County last year looking for home. And we've got to keep that in mind. I can tell you, I served 12 years in the legislature. Besides the 2006 legislation, I don't remember ever having a discussion around homelessness at the state legislature. It's nothing that's being talked about. And we have to have that discussion, not only in the legislature, but our city halls and our Board of Supervisors offices. We've got to have this discussion. Even though the homeless shelter may be in Phoenix, it's not a Phoenix issue. It's not a Maricopa County issue. It's a community issue. We all have to take part. We all have to be involved in this. This is how we are going to solve homelessness in Maricopa County. It's through programs like this and everyone working together to finally resolve homelessness in Maricopa County. So thank you on behalf of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors. Thank you so much.
We'd like to have Tom Menace come up.
And Hugh Gallagher.
And Hugh Gallagher. I want to say that Hugh, where's Hugh? Hugh is the designer of the best homeless court bench in the whole world. He provided the bench for our homeless court room at the Human Services campus. Thank you. And thank you, Maricopa County and Judge Welty from Superior Court in Maricopa County. I'm told that's the way you're supposed to say it. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our program for today. Thank you all for being in attendance. Thank you all for your support. Remember, those who I introduced at the beginning of the program are here and welcome to talk, and they welcome talking to you about their experiences on the street and in the homeless court. We also have been asked by the County Public Information Office if elected officials and court judges and personnel, management personnel would remain. They would like to take a group picture of all of you to represent the true regional aspect of this effort.